Now we are, Chair.
All right, I've reached the hour of 3:03. I'll call the Standcog Management and Finance meeting to order and ask for a roll call, please.
Stanislaus County, City of Ceres,
Here.
City of Houston, City of Modesto,
Here.
City of Newman,
Here.
City of Oakdale, City of Patterson,
Here.
City of Riverbank,
Here.
City of Turlock, and City of Waterford.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
You. Item 3 is public comments for anybody wanting to speak on any item not on the agenda. Are there any public comments?
Nobody online.
Being none, we'll move to agenda item number 4 and we'll adjourn to closed session.
Yeah, she's coming, IT's coming right back.
Go ahead, Mr. Chair.
All right, we will resume from closed session. Do we have a report out? Is Monica online or who's going to do the report out?
Monica, are you online? Is there a reportable action?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, members of the Management and Finance Committee and members of the public. The Management and Finance Committee met in closed session and there is for the item identified on the agenda, and there is no reportable action.
Thank you. Move on to item 6, consent calendar. Item A is motion to approve the Management and Finance Committee meeting minutes of October 1, 2025. Any questions? Any comments from the public? I'll entertain a motion. A motion from Riverbank and a second from Houston. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 7, 7A is Measure L funds received.
Yes, thank you. So this item is one that we've been talking about for a little while here at the Management and Finance Committee, to give you more information on how we're spending the Measure L 1%. So just a way of background, the annual Measure L revenue projection is about 38 million. We receive CDTFA receives Measure L funds and issues them monthly. And then the fiscal year for Measure L is a little bit different than the fiscal years for your normal fiscal year. It starts in August and ends in July. And this is because we're getting monies from the state, and they're a little bit behind. So next slide, please. So I'm going to go over a little bit of what we have had in the past and really just focus on what is new. So we've received over $5 million of Measure L funds so far for 25-26. The attachment 1 shows the monthly allocation compared to the total estimated for the fiscal year. Attachment 2 shows the Measure L funds by category and jurisdiction. And then attachment 3, Measure L breakdowns by jurisdictions and our projects. So these are attachments that have been in place for as long as I've been here. But the fourth attachment is the attachment that we want to focus on today, and that is the attachment that covers the Measure L outreach and education campaign allocation. Next slide. So this slide and in your packet shows the allocation of the. Am I okay? Okay, sorry. The allocation of the revenue versus the expenditures for fiscal year 24-25. And then it also shows the grant writing and outreach and education that we've spent in that year. The new year 25-26 is a little bit easier to read because we don't have as much in those cells. And so these are the numbers that we've been going over the last couple of months. If you drop down to the very bottom, you can see that the grant writing expenditure is, or estimated expenditures are 150,000 for 25-26. And then we had the 132,461 for the outreach and education. And then the far right column shows what we've actually expended. Next slide. So the Measure L outreach and education expenditures for September, for grant writing, we have the Mark Thomas for 5,881. That was for a raise grant. And then outreach and education, for which we spent $12,476 $1,000, and that was for the working on social media and then coordination, agency coordination. So that concludes my report. I would be happy to hear your comments or ideas of presenting this to you in a different fashion or more information.
Are there any questions, staff?
So on the convey, just out of curiosity, so for the month of September, they spent $12,000.
Correct.
So member agency coordination, what'd they do? What is member agency coordination?
Yeah, so they're working with, let me get to their. I do have it. They're working with, they were participating in board meetings and the different meetings, they charge us for that. Coordination with, at the board meeting, management and finance, prepare the follow-up from the management and finance meeting. Review quarterly reports and identify missing reports. That was it.
So again, member agencies, all of us here. Member agencies, none of us had any contact. They didn't come to any of our council.
Okay, perhaps we should rename that then, because I agree with you, the way it's worded here might be a little bit misleading, because absolutely, I know they did not come to any of your council meetings.
And then so for website development, what'd they do? on the website?
So they developed the social media contents, ideas and posts, the social media templates for StanCog,
Well, that's social media. What for the website? What'd they do?
the templates for the social media. And then we're the ones who post it. And then meetings and coordination with StanCog staff.
Brand message?
Brand messaging was $500. I didn't put,
What'd they do?
perform contract administration activities and perform project management activities.
How's
That's $501.
how's that brand message? Put this in contract.
It's the way that it was in was put into the contract, the way that we developed the scope of work.
So if they work on their own contract, that's brand messaging.
I'm sorry, Doug,
If they
say.
work on their own contract, that's brand messaging.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, I'm just not following your question, if it's a question.
Well, I'm trying to comprehend brand messages. That means you're trying to change your brand
Right, okay.
out there.
Uh-huh.
Has nothing to do with a contract. It has to do with changing your brand.
Mm-hmm.
What are you known for? But that's so, well. Thank you. That's brand messaging. What have they done for
Changing our brand.
Yeah.
So what have they done for StanCog for brand message?
I think that one's probably mislabeled too, but perform project management activities is where,
50% of the items you put up there are wrong.
well, they're not, I wouldn't say they're wrong. I would say that's the way it was labeled in the scope when we put together the scope that they gave us and that StanCog accepted when we had the contract. Yes, that's how it was, how it is labeled in the contract and the scope.
I'm using your words. Member agency coordination, it was wrong. That's not correct. Brand message, that was wrong. That's incorrect.
I'm not,
Your message,
I,
words.
no, that's,
Excuse me, we have a comment online asking you guys to speak more into the microphones, please.
I said we could look at renaming that. I didn't say, well, maybe I said it was wrong the first time, but the second time I don't believe I said that. Either way, right or wrong, we can look at relabeling it so that it makes more sense to the group. That's why we're here to ask of your input.
I just think, if you're gonna put items up there, they need to reflect actually what they did.
Understood.
And if I can just butt in here a little bit, I think one of the things that we have recognized as being kind of a challenge is how we've approached the marketing. And one of the things we think we should do is step back a bit, do a strategic plan, and really understand what those costs are rather than setting a budget before it's kind of putting the horse or the cart in front of the horse. So I think we're going to work as a team to come up with a strategy and work with you and work with the TAC to better understand how we can reach the public and really improve the program as opposed to just spending money for the sake of spending money.
I would make a suggestion that you ask them to tie their invoices to the tasks in the RFP and provide you information task level so that you understand what they're invoicing you for on each task. So therefore, when you're asked questions like this, it's a little bit easier to answer.
Understood. Thank you.
Where I was headed. Any other questions?
I did have one more question, Chair. There was a discussion early on, and maybe you guys already got it clarified, and I just didn't hear. The 1%, my understanding is Stancog relayed that they've only taken it in 24-25 fiscal year and now 25-26. Did we get clarity on 23-24?
I do not have clarity.
I believe the action was in 24-25. It was right after we did the RFP, which was in 24. And at that point, once we took the RFP, well, prior to that, so it was in 24. So I don't believe it was in 23-24.
Oh, so one of the issues is, we talked about at the last meeting, in 23-24, the budget was amended to add the 1% plus the expenditures in the contract. Now, I understand that that's part of the overall work plan, not necessarily what was expended. However, the budget was modified, right? We clarified that. We showed the documents. It was done in 23-24, 24-25, and 25-26. That has
Yes, you're correct.
1% and the expenditure. And I think that it goes to the point of what we've been asking for with respect to Measure L isn't necessarily just tied back to the 1%. All we've ever seen in our reports is just revenue, right? We should be showing how the money is being expended, both on the initial 1% administration as well as the 1% public outreach component, but then also in all the other funds and how the money is being expended. Revenue is one thing, expenditures is another thing. So being able to reconcile the difference between, like, I don't even know what the fund balance is for Metro at this point in time.
Yeah, you do have attachment 3 shows by city. It doesn't go to the project level, but it gives you the
That's revenue. 3 is revenue, and I'm asking for expenditure.
You're asking for expenditures for the 1%, not necessarily, are you asking for all the?
There should be expenditures for, there
Okay.
should be documentation on all expenditures related to Measure L.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the day, the county community has said, we're giving this money to expend on local roads and taxes. We should be able to prove and show how that money has been spent. And as we're getting closer and closer to having to renew this tax, that becomes more and more imperative that the community understands that we were good stewards of these dollars. And to date, this committee has not been provided any of the expenditure information.
We can do that. We can get the expenditure information to you. We'll include it next time.
Any other questions or comments?
Just back on that 23-24 issue, right, yeah, 23-24, I think we had asked for budget and actual. So that way we could see, because the budget was adjusted, and then to see, was it actually taken? So that would be, I think that would help clear up that.
Yeah, that's exactly my question, is there was lack of clarity of, with that amendment, did they actually take the money from the Measure L account into Stancog's account, or was it just something they budgeted next year? That's what we really need.
Can I get a little bit of clarification? My understanding is that the revenues for the local streets and roads go directly to the jurisdictions, right?
It goes through Stancog to us, but there's portions that are pulled off the top.
Right.
Or admin.
That's what you're interested in.
That's-
Also, the regional projects that, the revenues we get there, you'd probably want to know the expenditures for that as well?
Correct.
Okay.
And
Go ahead.
on the raise grant, what did he do? Because the raise grant's not open
This was,
last month.
yeah, this was in September.
Raise grant's not open. The raise grant's not operational yet. So what
Well,
is-
they put in a grant for the raise, They put in an application.
Who took it?
My recollection, there was a cycle at the beginning of the year, but I was retired for a few months, so I don't know exactly the date. But it was definitely an open cycle for that
I thought they took
funding.
it.
California didn't get any money. Everybody applied.
Excuse me, Jose Luis has a question online, Mr. Chair.
Sure.
Hello, good afternoon. Jose Luis Casares, Director of Program and Program Delivery.
Jose, we can't hear you.
Oh, am I still
Now we heard you.
testing?
There you go.
Okay. I just wanted to comment, no, that's not correct. We did not apply for a raise grant during the last month. That's us for September. What we did submit for was, the intake forms to Caltrans so that we can participate in the next round of SB1 applications. There's two grants that we're going to be applying for Senate Bill 1 funding. That's the Trade Corridor Enhancement Program and the Solutions for Congested Corridors. To be successful in these programs, it helps to have a Caltrans partnership. Caltrans starts deciding 2 months ago or 3 months ago, whether they want to partner with a project. And so we filled out multiple intake forms, cost benefit analysis. And that was what Mark Thomas did during that period.
And
There
reason-
was one, I get raise and build confused, but there was one bit of raise and build work. We did a debrief with the Federal Highway Administration on our unsuccessful grant so that we can improve for the next cycle.
So what we're showing there for Mark Thomas is what was on the invoice. That's where we got that information.
Yeah, so then that must be the debrief work.
And then, Jean, what period of time does that cover? Is it for the invoice that?
It's for a month.
Okay. And so they must not have ever billed us for the grant writing because it was a while ago.
Yes,
Okay.
that's would
Thank
be
you.
my understanding, yes.
Still $5,000 for a debrief or 5,800 for a debrief?
Jose Luis, can you answer that question?
I'll answer it. Raise grants require a lot of technical input, and it's really common around the state for county transportation agencies, COGS, and MPOs to use consultants to provide that data. Because you have to demonstrate a lot of things, and I don't have the information in front of me, but one of them is, traffic reduction. Anyway, there's a series of things that you have to demonstrate, and you have to demonstrate it through an engineering scope, and a lot of people don't have those kind of people on staff. And then modeling, most agencies can't run their own models because of the type of equipment is required. So could have been modeling. I don't know the details, but I do know that raise grants require a lot of technical input.
But this was for a debrief. Why you didn't get it?
It says grant writing there.
Jose Luis just clarified it was a debrief.
Oh,
Raise. Not a
okay.
raise.
Say, Luis, was that something that Mark Thomas went to talk to the FHWA about?
So I'm looking at the invoices. We have project management related to our raise grant, and work related to TSEP grant. There's multiple lines. It looks like it might have just been summarized to be raise grant related.
Okay, well, I certainly think that we can clarify this. And when we bring back the revenues and expenditures to you, we can provide that information.
All right, any other questions? All right, this was just a discussion item. We'll move on to 8A, local transportation funds received. Any comments on this report? Seeing none, we'll go on to Caltrans report. Caltrans on. All right, moving to 10, interim executive director report. Been day 2, 3.
Yeah, I haven't gotten heads up about the executive director report, so I'm going to start doing more formal ones in the future, but on day 3, and I think there is a lot of enthusiasm among the staff to work with me during this interim period, and we have a lot of work to do, and we're all pretty excited about putting in a team effort in light of where there isn't full staffing and there's a lot of new staff. So we are working hard, and I think the passion is there. And so we appreciate your patience while we go through this.
Thank you. Item 11 is a members report.
Stanislaus County, excuse me, our Public Works Director had stepped out during public comment, but I can have him come up and give more info if you'd like. This is on the 7th Street Bridge project, and the engineer's estimate for that was 92.6 million, and the apparent low bidder is MCM Construction at 85.2 million.
Nice.
So very good news and very exciting. If you'd like to hear more, I'm sure Dave will elaborate.
All right.
It was 92.6 million and came in at 85.2. So very good news.
Does that include the contingency? No. Okay.
Yeah.
So it came in pretty good, though.
Construction's coming in lower everywhere.
That's just a construction contract. So 10% contingency plus a CM plus a little money for staff time. MCM built Hickman Road Bridge for us. It did a really nice job. And the thing I'm most concerned about on all these big bridges over rivers is the drilling contractor, and MCM's self-performing. Yay. And so that's a good thing. They did a good job there too. So large diameter, cast and drilled hole piles make public works directors not sleep so well at night unless you got a really good drilling team. So we're super excited and can't wait to get under construction. We should be demo next March, April, and off to the races. So we'll do a really nice groundbreaking, and yeah, you all are invited. So we'll figure it out. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dave. Any other member reports? I will briefly comment that we did not bring the bylaws this meeting. I plan to engage the interim director to speak about the bylaws, and we will move forward in that fashion. Any other member reports? We have a question from Series.
Yes. So the personnel handbook went before the policy board about 2 months ago, and it's supposed to be brought back to us for revisions and clarification. Do we know when that might be coming back? Personnel handbook? And so they did a presentation to get it passed, and policy board pushed it back and said they had to come to us.
My understanding is that we have a consultant in place that's working on that, right?
Yes, we do have a consultant that's helping us with all our handbooks and any of our policies and procedures, yes.
And I believe Monica has a question.
Well, I guess what's the timeline on that, Monica? Does Monica know?
Yeah, thank you, members of the Management Finance Committee. I'm happy to address that. And I apologize, I couldn't quite hear the question. I have my speakers at 100%, but I don't think our microphones in the boardroom are very sensitive. But if I understand correctly, the question from Member Dunford is, what is the status of the update of the further amendment to the employee handbook? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we are going to be doing a more comprehensive review of the employee handbook, and that is going to be starting here in the next week or so. We're going to be focusing on a number of things, including any new state or federal regulations and laws that we need to update the handbook to be compliant with. And we're going to do a deeper dive associated with some of the cleanup items and the comments that the policy board had at their September meeting. So we anticipate that it would be probably January, just given the timing of the holidays, before drafts would be coming through the Management and Finance Committee for further review.
So Monica, during the policy board meeting, you said that a separate law firm was doing all the work. What
That
law
is
firm?
correct.
What law firm is that?
It's the law firm of Newmiller and Beardsley.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other member reports? All right, I'll adjourn us at 3:58.